Welcome to Old World Wanderings, Episode 8, Patrick Keely. I chose Patrick Keely because he's another one of these just unbelievable, amazingly American architects credited with 111 stone structures during his career, all over the whole United States. The first picture that I'm going to show you is of his completed cathedral at Little Rock. Now look at the mud flood damage, look at the people standing around. There's no mention of him in the construction either, but it's in his wiki. Now here's the next picture. Oh, look at that. They just put it in color and then they added the spire. They wetted out the sky, they took away the spire to make it look older, like they constructed more than one. This video is it's very similar to the one I made about William Ginther and his 113 stone structures. The reason why I'm doing this is because I'm kind of finding a niche in this whole old world investigation. You know, you see people like Damien out there, showing us the old world technology, how it worked and how it applied. His one specific video on airplanes and the amount of fuel they carry is absolutely incredible. We got my lunch break showing us secret sites, military bases, all these things. Got Mr. 76 showing us, mud flood. He seems to have an eye for mud flood. These guys, and the reason why I only bring up those are the first three that caught me once I started down this Tartarian rabbit hole. I think my niche is to find these lies, to find these padded stats, to find these architects that there is no possible way that they could have built and drawn up the plans for all of these unimaginable structures all across the United States. Okay, this guy's got 111 of them. He got one that was built out of wood. One out of his 111. There are other accounts that say that he penned up more than 600 of these gigantic stone structures all across the United States, from California to the Midwest, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, Virginia, into Canada. This guy was all over the entire United States and Canada building these massive stone structures, many of which were built during or right before or right after the Civil War. Apparently we had enough skilled laborers, stone cutters, people to move all this stuff to build all these gigantic structures in such a short amount of time. Some of these are just gigantic. And then if you watch the video and you read, it's gonna, Keely died before that one was built. There's no mention of Keely in this work. This may be an original because, I'm not gonna say that this guy didn't build anything, and this is no way, shape, or form. Again, this is entertainment only. I'm not trying to defame Patrick Keely. What I'm trying to do is bring out the truth that there is no possible way that one singular architect was responsible for building all these unimaginable stone structures. Now, so you've heard this narrative in the past video about William Ginther, so I'm not going to go back into it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about Tartaria a little bit. Now, people throw around the word Tartaria, and it bothers some people. I get a lot of pushback on the internet. People like to argue with me, oh, Tartaria this, Tartaria that. But what I like to say is that it doesn't have to be Tartaria. Okay? Tartaria, I think, is more of a jumping off point. I think it's a beginning point as to the depth of just how the old world worked. And I think that the fact that Tartaria had been wiped off the map and wiped out of existence is a big clue as to what the mainstream has done to our history. How they've changed it, how they've lied, and then how they've peppered these amazing architects' resumes with these buildings to say, oh, he was just that good. Oh, they just worked harder back then. Really. They just worked harder, but then they had the horse and buggies and ox carts and all the stone chisels and all the non-mechanized thing to build that Baptist church. I mean, these things are massive and they last forever. They are all over the United States. I understand that the architect doesn't build the building, but they need to be on site. Okay, they need to be on site often. Look at that one. You think that was built in a year? They need to be on site. Okay, at least occasionally, maybe once a week, once a month, something. He had 17 projects going all over the entire United States all at once. There is no possible way that this man could have been in and around all these different structures building. I mean, you see all these. These are all and the thing is, there's also some parts in the wiki where they spell his name wrong. They spell it Kiely instead of Kee. So I don't know if it's just typos, but I mean, if you're talking about historical documents, and these are documents of people when they are going to look up this guy, they're in architecture school and they want to see the best architects, they're going to see Patrick Keely. But when they look them up, they're going to find typos. They're going to find typos. They're going to find mistakes. All these things. So these holes in the narrative are what we're looking for. And I think my niche. This is in my hometown. It's right downtown from where I live. But as I walked around it, buried windows, buried doors. It's great. It's huge. Huge cathedral. But anyways, what I'm getting at is that they're lying. These buildings were here. These buildings were built by a civilization that were here before us. And they don't want us to know who they are. They don't want us to know about them. They want to hide it. They want to keep it from us so we don't know exactly how good we had it. And that's a horrible thing. That's a terrible thing. Hey, there's another mistake. Built in 120 years. Took them 120 years to build that. Keely must have lived to be 220 years old. I mean, that last one was a castle. Look at these things. All of these. Oh, this was built during the Civil War, and they had the manpower. And they had the manpower and the resources to build a lot of these things during the Civil War. So enough men that were able-bodied enough to build these stone structures were not fighting. They were not fighting. They were building churches all across the United States and Canada. Look at this monster. Yeah, it looks like the steps, they were probably modified mud flood. This is my favorite one. This one's in Halifax. But anyways, I think that's my niche, and you're going to be seeing more of these. You're going to find out about these architects. And if you know anyone that knows anything to the contrary, I would love to hear your comments. I'd love to hear people. I want some debate. I want some conversation going on. And thank you to those people that I mentioned early on about helping me through this journey, getting me into this, and really, really solidifying my belief that we have been lied to and that the old world exists. I love you all. I hope we can do it together. I really appreciate you listening. I hope it was entertaining. Please drop me a follow. And as always, you know the drill. Keep wandering.